Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, and peace and blessing be upon His last messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his companions, and those who follow the right path. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His grace. Welcome again to Understanding Islam Ramadan. Dear beloved viewers, it is always said that Ramadan is the month of generosity. Since we were very young, we used to call Ramadan the generous month. Many people greet each other in Ramadan saying Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan is generous. So what is the relationship between Ramadan and generosity? And what is this generosity in Ramadan? Is it the generosity of Allah, the most generous upon us all in Ramadan? Is it the generosity of wealthy people towards the poor and needy? Or is it the generosity of all people between themselves? Rather, it is all of that. Ramadan is in fact the month of generosity and giving. Do you want to know why? Let us find out. Ramadan is the month of generosity because all the gates of heaven are opened and all the gates of hell are closed and evil is enchanged. So the atmosphere is filled with goodness, giving hope and encouragement to all people to be better and aim higher. That is why in Ramadan, worship and good deeds are increased and people have more determination and stamina to perform those worships. Ramadan is the month of generosity because the rewards are multiplied in Ramadan manifold. Ramadan is the month of generosity because anyone who helps a fasting person break his fast will get a similar reward from Allah Almighty. That is why people race and compete to offer iftar buffet and invite family and friends, as well as feed the poor and needy. Ramadan is the month of generosity because in it there is a night with unlimited rewards, better than 1,000 months. It is Laylatul Qadr, the blessed night that Allah Almighty mentioned in the Holy Quran. And whoever misses this night has indeed missed a great deal. Ramadan is the month of generosity because there is Taraweeh and Qiyam and many other worships with huge rewards. Ramadan is the month of generosity because it is the month of charity and support for the poor and needy. In Ramadan, many people reach out more to help the less fortunate in food, clothes, and medicine, as well as moral and psychological support. Now that we know Ramadan is the month of generosity, we should not miss this chance to be among those who try to be more generous in Ramadan. However, we must point out that generosity does not mean wasting and squandering. Sadly, nowadays, there is a lot of wasting in Ramadan. In Ramadan and prior to Ramadan, markets are filled with people buying huge quantities of all kinds of foods and drinks as though they are expecting a starvation or preparing for a major global famine. Ramadan became to many people a season of food and buffet, an open display of different drinks and exotic food, where huge quantities of the food prepared goes to waste. Sawm and fasting is a form of forsaking body pleasures temporarily, trying to imitate the angels with no food and no drinks and continued remembrance and prolonged worships. So do not change Ramadan from a season of worship and devotion to a season of waste and dissipation. Remember that Allah Almighty does not like those who squander and waste, and describe them with the worst possible description, brothers of the devil, God forbid. Dear viewers, it is highly recommended to invite family and friends and to help the poor and needy, but spend wisely and according to your means, and avoid excessive food and expenditures. Also remember that it is very important to have a good intention behind your generosity in Ramadan. You should not be spending so that people will call you a generous or a charitable person. You should be doing it out of faith and seeking the rewards from Allah Almighty alone. Dear viewers, it is time now for a short break. We will be right back with more on the blessed month of Ramadan, the month of generosity. Stay with us. Welcome back to Understanding Islam Ramadan. We have been discussing Ramadan, the month of generosity. Dear viewers, Ramadan is a great time to connect with your family and relatives. Ramadan is the month of generosity among family, friends, and neighbors. So break the ice and invite others over or send something to them. Remember to be moderate and reasonable. Be yourself. You don't have to prove your generosity to anyone. Preparing extra kinds of food and beverage does not necessarily mean more generous. Being generous does not mean going bankrupt. Be generous with your means and your abilities. Preparing much more than needed is a bad habit and a dispraised behavior. Wasting natural resources and throwing leftover is a serious sin in Islam. This is not the way to thank Allah Almighty for His blessing and favors upon us. Dear viewers, you can be generous and gain lots of rewards even if you were not very well off yourself. When the Messenger, peace be upon him, was asked, not all of us have enough food to help a fasting person break his fast. The Messenger, peace be upon him, cleared this point and explained, Allah Almighty gives this reward, that is forgiveness of sins and freedom from punishment, to anyone who helps a fasting person, even if by a single piece of date or a mouthful of water or milk. Generosity should be sincere and for the sake of Allah Almighty alone, not for worldly benefits or gains. Some people might invite their boss or work colleagues in hope of getting a raise or a promotion. Remember, it is the intention that counts, the ability and willingness to help others, no matter how small that help may be. Dear viewers, generosity in Ramadan is the sunnah and tradition of our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him. The Messenger, peace be upon him, was the most generous out of all people, all the time. However, his generosity reached its highest level in Ramadan. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma reported and said, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, was the most generous of people in charity, but he was generous to the utmost in the month of Ramadan. Jibreel, peace be upon him, used to meet him every year during the month of Ramadan until it ended. And Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, recited to him the Quran. And when Jibreel met him, Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, was more generous in giving charity than the blowing wind. We need to emphasize one more point, and that is regarding the definition of generosity. Generosity is not only in money, food, gifts, and spending, but also in morals, dealings, and character. The morals of strengthening relationships and intimate attachments. The generosity in reaching out to others, and re-establishing family ties and relationships, and reconnecting with your relatives and loved one, as well as the generous feeling towards the needs of others and acting upon such merciful feelings. All these are types of generosity that we should not overlook. In fact, it is much more important than the spending of money alone without the moral factor. Dear viewers, we supplicate to Allah Almighty to make us generous and kind to people in need and spend in good and beneficial causes. We supplicate to Allah Almighty to grant us success in this great month and make us good for ourselves and everyone around us. Ameen. See you tomorrow again, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you and the mercy of Allah and His grace.